The silence is quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise up. I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
Good afternoon. You're tuned into Ability Matters, the program that covers matters to do with abilities, disabilities and everything in between. We are one of the longest running disability-related shows in the world, starting as Headway On Air all the way back in 2007 and now brought to you by My Home Living Care, an NDIS registered disability support organisation.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Ability Matters. I'm your host, Tony Scott-Emilio, and with me as always is my co-host, Alan. How are you, Alan?
Good, thank you, Tony. How yourself, mate?
Going great, thank you.
Oh, that's great.
So what have we got lined up for today?
We've got a couple of stories to talk about. Have you ever heard of the sunflower? Is a symbol for people with invisible disabilities. It's popping up all over the globe.
I know, I've heard of the sunflower for different reasons, like all that
Yeah, well now,
stuff. But yeah,
if anyone's wearing a sunflower,
it's for
invisible disabilities.
it's for
Yeah.
so not for the obvious ones. Yeah,
No.
the ones
no.
you can't see.
Yes.
Right.
That's right.
Of course, brain injury will be in that category.
Like ours.
Yes, right.
The ones you can't see.
Yeah.
Also, too, I have asked people if they wanted help. Yeah, you get that answer of no, a very serious no.
Yeah.
I can't say it on air.
Certain other colourful language, I'm guessing.
Yes,
okay.
I'm sure.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see, girls wear... I won't talk about it at the moment, but I just want to say I did 2 interviews yesterday coming up for Brain Injury Week next week, telephone interviews, and I got to say there's going to be 2 interviews coming up that are going to be good interviews.
Powerful?
Yes, for sure, and shocked interviews. Especially one of them, you're going to be shocked on what happened and how they're doing now.
What do you mean shocked at like the rehabilitate? How well they've actually...
Well,
how well they are?
What happened to them, how they got their brain injury,
right.
Shocked.
Okay.
And also where they are now today. And this is only, say, 6 years ago.
So shocked at their level of rehabilitation, I'm assuming, yes?
Yeah. Put it this way, university. They're back at university.
Wow. See, I tried
and they
to
want
do
to
that.
be an OT. So, I'm not going to say any more because it's going to be ruined for next week.
Yes.
But you got 2 good interviews coming up next week.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I know I can relate to it because I tried to go back to the university myself, but I think I just were a bit too premature in it, so I tried to go back too early.
Yeah.
But not so much too early for my my mental ability. It was like too early for like the whole transport to and from, because it was at a time when the free bus system didn't exist.
Yep.
So I had to work out a way to try and catch different public
buses,
transport and everything like that. And that was just I had to rise too early for me to get to university on time. I don't want to bore you anymore with that sort of thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All rightio, we'll go to some music now, mate, and we'll come back to the Hidden Disabilities Sunflower we'll talk about.
Talk more about the sunflower symbolism. Beautiful.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, well, I'm going to open up today's show with a 90s double. I got the Screaming Jets and Go West. Now, people don't really know what Go West very much, but okay, the open song is going to be Screaming Jets with Better from 1991, and then Go West, King of Wishful Thinking, 1990, shortly after that. Here we go, Screaming Jets. And yeah, we had a bit of a, And the first one I opened up with was the Screaming Jets, Better from 1991. Now, I remember those songs when I was just still going to school, so there you go. Yeah, no worries. Okay, straight back over to you, Alan. Go for it.
Right, the Hidden Disabilities Sunflower is popping up across the globe. Hear what it is means and what to do if you see it. Things most Australians don't think twice about doing can send Alex Green into a severe pain flare. I find it hard if I stand for too long. After 5 minutes, it can be quite bad. Sitting at a desk for too long can also be painful. Now, Alex is 29 and is a Sydney-sider, lives with scoliosis and chronic pain. Sometimes all it takes to bring on, agony is the change in the weather. Navigating all that is made even harder by the fact Alex's disabilities are invisible. Some things she was again reminded after missing out on a seat during a recent bus trip. Not being able to sit down on public transport might not seem like a big deal, but Miss Green, it can be the difference between having a prolonged, intense period of pain and not. On the day of that bus trip, Miss Green was using a walking stick and wearing a bright green Hidden Disability Sunflower. What was that word you said?
Lanyard.
Lanyard. Thank you, mate.
No worries.
And which means that you've got a hidden disability.
Symbolism, yes?
Yeah, this is popping up all over the world, the sunflower. And what it means is you've got a hidden disability, and if you see someone with a hidden with that symbol, sunflower. Also, there's wristbands and all that, with sunflowers on it.
Other paraphernalia. Yep.
Yeah. So what it means is, they have a hidden disability, which brain injury is also known as is hidden disability. And, just can you help them out?
Or be prepared.
Be prepared. And like on a bus, well, I was raised on a bus. If a female standing...
Let's take that way. You weren't raised on a bus.
No, yeah.
When
I
you
was
were raised...
If you were on a bus...
Yes, that's better.
And a female standing, you get up.
Yeah, it's called courtesy, isn't it?
Yes, courtesy.
Well, I'm afraid that's just not very evident in this society.
Gone now.
Yes.
It's gone now, and it hurts to say that, especially. I can go into a lot of stories, but I won't. But this sunflower, I've gone way off topic here. This sunflower identifies to help people with invisible disabilities. All people with disabilities should be able to get support without having to constantly explain themselves, and things like lanyards. Yeah, allowed to wear to flag their condition on their own terms.
To make it obvious, yes.
Yes. It can bring it out when they choose to be visible if they want, which,
That's fair enough.
What should you do if you see someone displaying the sunflower? Invisible disabilities can be physical, virtual, neurological, cognitive, pain.
All stuff in the head, yes.
Yes, definitely. And or fatigue based, and there's can fluctuate from day to day, or solutions to people with the disability can have different needs at different times. Miss Green said, so there's not necessarily just one way to offer support to a sunflower wearer. For me, it's would be nice if someone just said, do you need any assistance? And
Or ask how can they help.
yes, yeah.
Or if they need any help.
Means the same thing.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Just,
And then the way it opens up the conversation, she said, aside from asking someone if they might need help, Mr. Bruce, there are 5 main things you can do if you see someone displaying a sunflower who's wearing a sunflower's gear. Is be kind, listen closely, have patience, don't judge, and show respect. When there is greater awareness of what the sunflower represents, it's just going to be beneficial for the invisible disability community, Miss Green said. By wearing a sunflower yarn wristband for people with the disabilities that ain't immediately apparent can signal to others they may need help. Understanding or auditive communication methods as they go about their day. It began in England, back at England Airport in 2016, and that's where they started the sunflowers off for people with invisible disabilities. And now it's in Australia, New Zealand. It's going global. I've really messed this story up. I'm very sorry.
well, I only ever knew the sunflower as a symbolism for something a little different to that. Nothing specifically to do with disability. It was more just things like if you're one of those from the 60s sort of thing, like the hippier type person.
Yes,
but
now
it's something different.
But now you're going to see young people with it on. If they choose to show that they have a disability, you're going to see young people with the sunflower on. So it won't be the 60s types or anything.
Look, the older generation,
If I had a picture of it, I seen it on the internet, and it doesn't look anything like that. It just actually looks like a sunflower, and it's on a green band, and so...
So the sunflower still looks like a sunflower. That's the key point, yes?
Yes.
It's just the background that changes.
Yeah, and
Right.
it just means that the person's got invisible disability, and that's all it is. And saves people going, there's nothing wrong with you.
That's right.
Then you've got to explain yourself to the person about your brain injury. And sometimes they do believe you, and other times they don't believe you. And honest truth, these days, you're better off having a sunflower yarn on, because, a lot of people just won't listen to you. Things are really changed.
Yep.
So,
okay.
Well, we'll go back to some music now, mate.
Rightio. Well, I've got some Eagles coming up straight after what you're about to hear, so...
Casimir Lingerie is Illawarra's leading breast care boutique, specialising in the fitting of breast forms, mastectomy bras and swimwear following breast surgery. Whether it be a mastectomy, lumpectomy or reconstruction, with over 20 years experience we can help restore your balance and confidence. Casimir offer the most extensive range of post-surgery breast care products while giving caring and personal service with fully qualified fitters. Find your fit at Casimir, bra fitting and post-mastectomy specialist, Fairy Meadow and Warilla, or online at casimirlingerie.com.au.
VOX FM sponsor.
Hi, I'm Ian.
Hi, I'm Dan. We present Greenacres on Air.
We cover a range of different genres of music across the decades, with guests from the Greenacres disability sector and news from across the Greenacres industry.
So join us from midday Wednesdays here on the Illawarra's community station, VOX FM. We look forward to your company.
Sing Australia. Wollongong sings at 7:30pm on Wednesday nights in the Therese School Hall, end of Powell Street, West Wollongong. Experience the joy of singing with others. No auditions ever. Male and female voices are welcome. Sing at the community events at the aged care homes if you want to. For further details, ring Sue on 0421 316 296 after hours or email singaustralia.com.au or just show up on the night.
Community service announcement.
Yes, that was just Van Halen with Dance the Night Away from 1979. And before that we heard from the Eagles with Lion Eyes from 1975. There's another little 70s double for you. See how many more of them we've got lined up for you. Okay, now, straight over back to you, Alan.
Thank you, mate.
Go for it.
Courtney Webback lives with a vision impairment and at age of 19 first picked up a tennis racket just over a year ago. She has risen quickly through the blind and low vision tennis ranks and was recently crowned the Australian Women's B2 and B3 singles champion. Webback is now preparing to represent Australia as part of the country's BLV tennis team at the up-and-coming International Blind Sports Federation World Games in the United Kingdom.
England, right. Yeah.
Yes. The young athlete will also represent Australia at the Games as vice-captain of the country's first blind cricket team as also. I didn't think tennis and cricket would be the sports I would represent my country in, but it is an amazing honour to put on the green and gold, Webback said. The World IBSA World Games started on August 18th with an expecting 1,700 competitors representing 70 nations across 11 blind sports. Australia's largest ever 90 athletes and coaches participating in 6 sports. Matt Clayton, Chief Executive sorry.
It's a big
yeah. Of a Blind Sport Australia said, this demonstrates this remarkable growth interest in blind and vision impairment sports across the country, he said. Practically it's such a sport as blind cricket where we have our first women's blind cricket team competing and the large number of players in the first blind and low vision tennis team in the games. Training has been full on, and the more you work, we put in the training courts, the more it shows when it's time, Webback said. She has encouraged to pursue both tennis and cricket last year. Before she lost her sight, she played netball all through school, rode horses, did athletes. I have won national titles in cross country, and last year I went to the Paralympic talent search and found tennis, she said. Then I met some amazing people who played cricket. They told me I should come along and play cricket, and I was lucky enough to get a national title with the New South Wales team this year. Blind tennis is split into classifications according to the player's impairment. Blind and low vision tennis is typically played on a small, bright lit indoor court, and the tennis ball is made of foam and contains a bell, so it's easier for the visual impaired players to track the ball.
So they see by hearing, yes?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It's a lot of focus. You know, it takes up a lot of your brain gets very tired especially when you got to listen to where the ball is.
When you have to focus on many different things at once.
Yes, and listen for every ball and sound of their racket.
I'm sure many people can relate to that.
Yes,
not saying they have to see with their sound, but they can relate to being overtired from focusing on many different things. Yes,
but as you know, as they say, you got five senses.
Yes.
If you lose one, right, the others get stronger. So you know, hearing will get stronger. You know, things like that. You know,
that's the theory. At least I don't know. I haven't lost any of my senses, so I can't relate to that.
Yeah. And once the ball bounces, they know where to look, which direction to run. I get 3 bounces to take it on. So the ball can bounce 3 times on their side of the court before, you know, it's counted as they lost a point or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. It's definitely quite draining to stand on the court to wait for the sound every time, because there are normally 8 chords of the same sound playing beside you. That'd be very hard. In January this year, she took part in the BLV tennis expedition matches at the Australian Open. On top of her sport commitments, she is also studying for a Bachelor of Agriculture through the University of England. I sat down 12 months ago with my tennis coach and said, I want to win a national title and represent my country. So to have these 2 ticked off, there's one thing left to hopefully be number one in the world, she said. You know, all I can say to her, you know, best of luck. You know, my brain's worn out now. So
even just reading through that, right?
Yeah. My brain is definitely worn out by now. But, you know, best of luck, you know, and to have that many people, you know, playing for Australia, 90 athletes, you know, that is awesome, which shows people not giving up. It doesn't matter what disability you end up with, people are not giving up. And that is awesome.
They're being very, is the word tenacious maybe? They want to stick with it, yeah?
Yeah, well, you know, they're starting up new sports that they've never played before.
They're doing something out of their comfort zone, right.
You know, as Webback said, you know, she never played tennis before.
That's right.
Yeah, so they're doing sports that they've never done before, and they're taking it on and not giving up. And they're just, you know, training harder and harder, you know. And I can honestly say, you know, I'm real happy for everyone, and best of luck to everyone. I hope you all get a medal.
But would you consider what she was just talking about something that added to her bucket list to want to win the competition, whatever it was?
Well, after being blind.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. That's something that she's added on to her bucket list is, I want to win this tournament. And
it's not just something like, oh, I want to go here, do a drink on this. Not something trivial. Like
that's right.
Yes.
You know, it's something that's happened to her in her life, that she's gone blind. And so she's just put on another thing in the bucket list that, hey, I want to win this.
Added something else beautiful.
Yeah. So, well, we'll go to some music now, Tony.
Right, yeah. Well, let's go back to, I think everyone, I don't know many people who consider themselves who like listening to classic music don't know who Bob Dylan is. So let's go back to one of Bob Dylan's classics, Mr. Tambourine Man, 1965. And yes, that was just Pilot with Magic from the year 1974. And we've just had a new, we'll say a new special guest has showed up. Thank you for joining us there, Sean.
G'day and good afternoon, everyone. How are you going?
Good, mate. How's yourself?
Special guest. Is that like, you know, remember in the 70s they used to have someone famous come on the show and they'd say special guest appearance from, you know, some famous singer? Am I the special guest appearance?
Oh, I don't know. How famous you want to sing right now then?
Did I get my rider? Did I get my blue jelly beans that I requested, or... being a special guest, make special requests.
Oh, you lost that paperwork, didn't you?
I would say lost. Say I appropriately misplaced
He
it.
filed it in that little round filing cabinet in the corner there.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what news do you have for us there, Sean?
Oh, just a little bit of information. So we had a really good show last week. Alan couldn't make it, unfortunately, so Rebecca stepped in, and I just had some good feedback. I don't know, have you guys heard anything? Did you hear anything, Tony or Alan, anyone talk to you about the show last week?
No, I as I said, I was in Goulburn.
Yeah.
So
I don't really get a lot of face-to-face feedback or anything like that. So.
I don't normally either. I mean, I do the Thursday morning breakfast show, as people know, but just a lot of people sort of reached out to me to say they were just really appreciated Beck's story, and so I just thought it was really, good, good start to Ability Matters, the rebranded Headway On Air show. And
I interviewed Beck before, and it was about how she got a disability, and but Tony said, we don't hear much feedback.
Yeah.
We only get told what they want us to hear.
Yeah.
But now
I won't call you mushrooms, but
not
but
quite.
now I've got us down on Synapse to radio show.
Yep.
To listen every Tuesday. I'll probably hear more feedback from the show.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's a shout out. If people do, have something to say, you can give us a call on 4226 9393. Let us know what we're doing well. I guess also what's
Oh, sorry.
how can improve.
You're just saying call in. The person who was calling earlier on in the show, try to do your best to call in the gaps when an actual song is playing. That way I can pick up the phone.
Yeah, we
hear what you have
can't
to say.
answer the phone when we're talking. But also, so from last week, I'm going to, I think I mentioned last week, we're going to start podcasting the show, which means that podcast stands for play on demand. So we'll put copies of it on YouTube and another website so that you can listen to this a little bit later. Not everyone's available 12 to 1 on a Tuesday, so you can listen to it at your leisure. And going forward, we're going to look at putting it in other places like Spotify and some other sort of audio places as well. We'll just keep people updated. But at the moment, if you want to hear last week's show, you can go to YouTube and just put in the search bar there, My Home Living Care, and the channel will come up and you'll listen to last week's show. We have to take out all the music because that's a legal requirement. We don't have a license to do that music on YouTube. But if you go to My Home Living Care, or just generally if you Google My Home Living Care, it's a website and there's a link to the podcast on there as well. So
what was that again? You just Google it.
Yeah, My Home Living Care.
Is that one word?
Yeah, all one word.
Okay.
You can Google it, or you can go into YouTube and put in the search bar on YouTube, and either way you'll find it a link to the YouTube video. And for those that are aware, or I guess aren't aware, My Home Living Care is a new sponsor of Ability Matters.
Yeah.
I work for My Home Living Care. My boss has graciously allowed us to post it onto the website so people can hear it later on as well. I'll be involved in various ways going forward with the show, but not always on each week. Which is a shame. I'd like to, and again, like I mentioned last week, I did work with the boys probably 7 years ago.
Yes, yeah.
To, put together the show back then. So, hopefully, I think, Alan, I don't know if you know, but we did talk about last week that this is the longest running show in the world for disability-related matters, the latest radio program. Actually, I got told shows on TV, programs on radio, so...
I remember when I first started here and I started calling it the show, that a lot of the more old school radio announcers started giving me a bit of the Eagles. I was like, what did I say wrong there? It's not a show.
Barry in the office, if he's listening, will be screaming at me, Sean, it's a program, not a show, like you did last week, in a nice way.
Yeah,
but it's good to be technical.
Very friendly folk here at VOX FM.
But I think, if you were to meet Alan and Tony, you'd realise that they're pretty handsome guys, so we could call it a show because they're pretty good looking dudes. So.
Which angle are you playing here, Sean? How much money do you owe, Alan?
You need new glasses, mate.
I'm just trying to get my blue jelly beans.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, so there you go. So if you listen, want to listen in again, and going forward, all the interviews and all the great information that they talk about will be on there. And it was interesting you talking about that Hidden Disabilities a little bit earlier.
Sunflower. I had no idea that's what a sunflower meant.
I'd sort of heard about it, but it really, obviously there's people that, there's these disability, or what I call them accessible parking spots at shopping centres and things like that, where people park, and often sometimes people get out there and you think, have they got a disability or not?
Yeah.
You know, but often it's hidden. And
Yes.
so from my, 30 years of work in the area, what I first look for is if someone's got one of those cards in their windscreen, they've got those parking vouchers there. Because to get one of those, it's very hard. You need a doctor's, and it's very hard to, get one, fortunately.
Yes.
Yeah, so if someone's got one, then you don't need to ask them if they're anything. But I think it is also good if you see someone park there to gently and politely ask them, do you have a parking sticker? Do you realise it's an accessible parking spot?
Yes.
I mean, too often some people are a bit aggressive or rude about it, but I think, if you see someone parking those spots and they're not don't have the right voucher, the right parking thing on display, then, just gently say, look, do you realise,
With my knee and that, I had to get it's like a licence, photo licence.
That's right.
And you got to put it in with the card.
Yep. Got to display it. Yeah. So, but, there are people who do park in the wrong spots, so it's good to make sure the right people are parking in the right spots.
Oh, yeah, definitely for
But
sure.
also good not to be rude to people about it, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Like you were saying before, Alan, I think somehow society, everyone's getting a little bit more abrasive, and,
Yes,
every time I ring a government department now, there's always a message to please be nice to people, because I think a lot of people aren't. So,
Yes.
I think it's always good to just be nice to people and be polite. And,
They just feel it's the government and that they run everything, so they're used to this kind of thing. So
there's also signs up at Woolworths and things like that. I think, unfortunately, a few people go off at the Woolworths workers and
checkout chicks.
Yeah.
Even though they're not always chicks, but
It always amazes me, because obviously the checkout chicks or whatever, they don't set the prices. They're not the people deciding what's in Woolworths or not. So yelling at them's not going to get you far.
Yeah, but you got to understand too. They work there, so they're seeing these prices all the time, and it's not their fault.
That's right.
Yeah, they're just working there.
It's the bosses in the head office, I guess, that set all the prices and
the
things.
higher powers.
So,
That's right. Yeah, if you want to yell at someone, get the higher power down on the floor and then yell at them.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's me. So thanks for letting me come in again, guys.
Sure thing. Thanks for spreading the word.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I had no idea that's what POD stood for. Play on Demand.
POD, podcast, play on demand.
Well, I think now's a good time to get through to another more emotive song by the Righteous Brothers. It's called Rock and Roll Heaven from 1974. Yet again, another double. So, all right. Now, this song, if you listen to the lyrics, it mentions a good little collection of old school classic rockers and classic music people. So, just have a listen. Here we go.
Wow, where does he get all this good music from, Alan? It's amazing.
I wouldn't have a clue, mate.
Hey,
I've been collecting
DJ Tony with the
since I was
bangers.
in high school, so there we go. Okay, and that was just Beyond the Sea, La Mer by George Benson from 1985. But the original version of that song was made famous by Bobby Darin. However, the original version was by a French man named Charles Trenet, and the original was 1946. That's like World War II time. And then, it just grew from that.
And then Smooth George Benson did his version of it.
Of course, yes.
Amazing.
And although Bobby Darin made it more of a popularised it, but George Benson, I just think, had a more impact, yes. There you go.
See, told you
There's
he
my
knows his
music
music.
trivia
He's
right
good, isn't he?
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't forget to stay listening for the Smooth Connection. Come up straight after this with Eileen, and I think we're just going to go out with a little
station announcement.
Station ID, and they're going to stay tuned.
Yeah, before we do, just quickly, as I said before, if you want to find a copy of this show, go to YouTube, Google My Home Living Care, or you can also Google My Home Living Care just generally and go to the website, and there'll be a copy of it there. So podcasting, playing on demand, you can listen to it whenever you like.
Yeah, it'd be great.
It's certainly good to me to remind myself what I played last week, so there we go. Even though, yes.
Although technically we cut out the music, so you won't be able to...
Really? No, I mean...